Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hall of Fame Night 2018. I'm John Johnson, the Athletic Director at Shawnee Mission South, and this is a big night. It's a big night for the community, but more than that, it's a big night for the inductees. We have three very special people, and as always, Dave Stewart, class of 1975, is the MC.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. One of the great parts of Hall of Fame night is being able to bring back former inductees so we can re-meet them in the end zone at the north side of the gym. Please hold your applause until the end. From the class of 2011, head baseball coach Bill McDonald is here tonight. Tip your cap. Thank you. 2012 football, Ted Staley, Hall of Famer. 2013, Greg Gurley is with one of our inductees tonight, along with Dee Dee Lawless-Bee in track and field and cross country. 2014 Hall of Famer diver Kurt Anselmi made the trip from Texas. 2015 football and baseball state champions John Dillon. 2017 tennis champion Sue Clark. She had promised to dance. So disappointed. And longtime athletic director Bill Tygree fixing to turn 91. Please welcome Mr. Tygree back to KSMS. There's a reason our first Hall of Famer wasn't inducted before now. He kept nominating everybody else, but he still made history as the first active coach to be so honored. He swam at KU and had been coaching collegiately when West Texas State disbanded the program in 1975. Turns out he was good friends with our district superintendent, Arzell Ball, after coaching his son in the Junior Olympics. Shawnee Mission South had an opening, he applied for the job, and history was waiting. Under his guidance, the Raider boys won 4 state titles in the 80s and one for the Thumb in 2013. There was a Girls Sunflower League and state championship in 1976. So how do you explain success like that? Especially with a former national champion coach of the year who never really put an emphasis on winning. He figured if you did the right things along the way, winning would come. He religiously studied trends in training as a member of 3 coaching organizations, including one that he founded. He read emails and articles and watched videos on a regular basis to stay on top of the latest techniques. But there's a reason nobody ever wanted to carpool with him. Every day to school and back home, he listened to tapes from swim clinics on his trusty cassette player. Every day for 43 years. He always enjoyed tinkering with his lineup as a way to challenge his athletes. Jeff Benz thought he was primarily a breaststroker when he came to South. Well, Jeff still holds the school record in the 100 breast, but he also set Raider records in the 50 free and 100 fly after Coach expanded his role. That's where trust between an athlete and coach can be so special. He remembers a swimmer talking to his parents about college, and he made it clear he needed to see what Coach thought about something that important. When 2016 Hall of Famer Susan Copeland died in college, Coach was there for the family, supporting, guiding, and encouraging. Susan's sister Chris is a longtime Raider assistant who's considered him a mentor for nearly 50 years. And even though he didn't know a lot about football, he agreed to join Coach Davis' staff in the 80s because Papa asked him to. And Coach wanted a winner like that around his program. But he still remembers the thrill of driving to work at South the very first day in 1975, the excitement and anxiety calmed by the coaching clinic audio blasting on his car's cassette player. Retiring now, and he still loves the pool, the classroom, the kids, and administration. This never really felt like work. An initial 5-year plan to teach and coach at South turned into 43 and a Hall of Fame career. Accompanied by his wife Kay, a retired teacher who has a big honey-do list waiting. Here's 2018 Hall of Famer, swim and dive coach Bruce Booker. Coach Bill also produced an ABC out of his swim and dive program. Our next Hall of Famer was the head coach of the very first football game South ever played, on the other sideline, losing by a touchdown. When Coach Davis called him about doing it again in 1967, he said that was probably somebody else's call, since he planned to retire from coaching, at least in the Raytown School District. That's when Coach Davis saw a great opportunity. He needed a good assistant. South needed somebody qualified to teach both physical education and art, the unlikeliest combination, but not for a future Raider Renaissance man, the gentle giant in his intimidating 6'5" frame. He'd go on to become a trend-setting department chair in arts and offensive line coach for 2 undefeated state title football teams. He coached wrestling in Raytown and wanted to bring the sport to the Kansas side. So he talked to the superintendent, who agreed to give it a shot as a pilot program. If it worked at South, wrestling would expand to all of the Shawnee Mission schools, and it did. On his watch, South produced a 3-time state champion, Scott Lucian, who could have been 4-time if 9th graders were allowed in the building. There was also a second-place team finish in 1975 when we hosted state in this very gym. South had a number of challenges as a new school, since there was really no tradition. Initially, school spirit was very low, but our Hall of Famer changed that. As a way to get students more involved, he started an activity council, recruiting 2 leaders off every team and club to brainstorm, or at least validate his ideas. He decided they'd have a party. The girls swore not to call it a dance in the cafeteria after home games. Parents brought pizzas because teenage boys are always hungry. First party, 900 students showed up. Pep rallies during the school became a happening, and the faculty got behind it. His influence was felt the most at a personal level. He mentored young coaches who sought him out and wanted to know how to build a program, and more importantly, how to build relationships. One of the longest lasting is Dick Kramer, now the district's director of student activities and athletics. On the wrestling team, he taught Kramer about grit and resilience, not being defined by a result. And he would always preach, tomorrow brings promise and unending opportunity. He was the kind of a coach who brought out the best in people in athletics, art, and activities. But above all, Coach was content to stick around South for one simple reason: happy wife, happy life. Peggy did well in real estate in a booming area like this because families all wanted a piece of a Shawnee Mission School District education. Collectively, generations of Raiders were blessed by their presence. Accompanied by his wife Peggy, who's in the building, and presenter Dick Kramer, our distinguished contributor from the Hall of Fame class of 2018, Guy Malone. We now live at a time where far too many young athletes are forced to focus on one sport all year long. Even though in last year's NFL draft, 30 out of the 32 first-round picks were multi-sport athletes in high school. In fact, first overall pick, Myles Garrett, played football, basketball, plus track. Our final Hall of Famer qualified as a multi at South. His sophomore year in 1987, the Raiders won a 2nd straight state soccer title. His brother had done the year before. And he wasn't just seasons. He was never going to win the eye test, not especially tall, didn't have the best vertical, but he was smart, hard-nosed, and he knew how to prepare. A typical daily workout in the off-season, 2 to 3 hours, ball handling, dribbling with both hands, shooting with both, one-on-one closeouts, weightlifting, and cardio. And he always waited 2 or 3 summer leagues with teammates on top of it. As a senior, Coach Sexton's practices weren't long. They didn't need to be, since the team practiced so hard, and he set the tone. With a fierce competitive fire, opposing coaches feared on game nights. On a team like no other in Raider history. Undefeated, 24-0, and a year known for the rich talent from here to Wichita with Steve Woodbury and Cortez Barnes. But South was blessed to have 2 Beatles, not just one, even if Greg Early looks more like Mick Jagger than John Lennon. And even though captains who are point guards do the dirty work and manage the floor, he had the power to call timeouts, and he scored plenty, leaving South as the all-time leading scorer, now 9th overall. When he reflects on what that first year was like, that first championship, he recalls the coaching and everybody embracing their roles, admitting the previous year's team was more talented. So what was the spark for greatness, besides wanting to play basketball like his dad, who won an NAIA national championship at Rockhurst in 1964? At South, he took it as a requirement to be a role model and a citizen, set an expectation that we could and should win. From where you're sitting, it may look like he has the world's best spray tan, but he and wife Emily just got back from Hawaii today, where he played golf in the PGA. And Peggy, Mom and Dad, please welcome. He's back home. 2018 inductee, Kevin Rabbit.